Whoa! Look at that! This is big. There's a big fish. Oh my God!
You know, it wasn't that long ago that upper and lower Red Lakes in Minnesota were really out of whack. Due to excessive, unregulated native commercial harvesting, walleye populations had simply been wiped out. Consequently, sport fishing on the portion of Upper Red where non-native anglers were allowed became futile, for walleyes at least. Over time, the good news for anglers were the huge schools of giant crappies that filled the gap in the ecosystem, which was once owned by the walleye.
Look at the size of this thing, Curly.
After a phone call from Don Hudek, Chris and I went up to film a show and found the most unbelievable crappie fishing you can imagine.
That's a big crappie now.
Once it aired, people from all over the United States came to Red Lake to fish those giant crappies. Well, technically classified as a walleye lake, the DNR here set the goal of restoring Red Lake to its natural state. An exhaustive stocking program ensued to achieve that goal, and in due time the walleyes made a tremendous comeback. And today, the fishing for them there is red hot.
Heading up to Red Lake to go after some early season walleyes.
Following an exceptionally late spring last May, BWP Pro staffer Ty Shadeen went to Red Lake to report on the timing and share a few of the patterns allowing anglers to boat up to 150 fish per day.
This lake is just a gradual bowl. It just gradually slopes off the shoreline. You know, you could go 8-10 miles and it's still only about 13-14 feet on upper. What we're looking for is, well, A, to get away from the crowd a little bit, but B, find just different intricacies in the bottom, and those fish are just going to school up there. There's actually a little bit of a point that comes out right here too. See, it comes up and then it'll drop back off. Like I said, these fish are just strewing along this whole edge. Just a matter of finding the spot where they're schooled up. Try it here, start pitching some jigs and see what we got. Just a simple technique. I mean, I'm just using a short shank fireball jig, tipping it with a fathead today, using an Icon St. Croix rod. It's a medium action, 6'8". Just exactly what we want, because we're going to try pitching and rolling on the bottom because they might be a little bit more lethargic because they're coming off a spawn. So we'll just see how they react. You know, again, I'm gonna try to kind of bring it back slow and almost drag it and just twitch it. Just missed one right there already. So I think they're just sitting down there waiting for a meal to come by them, an easy one. You can see that rod tip moving every time I go across a little pebble. That's how sensitive these rods are. You can feel it in the handle. We're not fishing real deep water. We're fishing, 5 to 7 feet of water. There's one. Oh, he's staying down. Oh yeah, that's a nice one there. Should have grabbed the net, but there we go. That's what we're talking about. It's just you can just tell they're just solid fish. Solid fishery. There's a lot to eat here for them. This lake has just come back dramatically. It's amazing. Again, all I was doing was just barely rolling that jig. I'm almost just straight retrieve with a little twitch here and there. Pausing it once in a while. I actually went down from a 3/8 to a 1/4 ounce. This lighter jig seemed to be the ticket. 1/4 ounce again with a minnow. Hardly any twitching at all. With these rods, you can feel every little rubble, rock, nuance on the bottom, and you can feel them pick it up too. So, and usually they're hungry, so they'll really suck it in and wallop it. Another one. Oh, no, shaking his head. Well, it just made a big difference switching to a lighter jig. Just testing different things out is important when you're out here. You just need a little smaller meal. Bring different size baits, different baits. I mean, just trying different things and seeing what works. You know, this is the lion's share of the size of walleyes you're catching out here. It's just eater size walleye for the table. It was a pretty cloudy morning. Looks like the clouds are starting to break up now and the sun's starting to come out. Sometimes that's all it takes to really get these fish turned on. These fish are not very deep. I mean, we're only talking 4 to 7 feet, and they'll stay shallow like that through July. The bite may change a little bit as far as the technique, but they're still gonna stay there. So with that sun, or any kind of integral thing, wind, if it flattens out, if it's been slow, a lot of times it'll trigger a bite. There we go. Nicer fish again. Just that average, I mean, this is that average size fish. This one actually might, it's just a fat toad. What we're looking for today as far as eating fish. Look how fat they are. They're just feeding big time right now. Coming off that post spawn, they are in the feeding mode. I'm gonna measure this one. Perfect, 16 incher. That one's good for the table. Sun comes out, fishing picks up on this lake when it's dingy water. Been on here many times when that happens. You go from cloudy to sunny, and the bite just strikes for whatever reason. I think it's just, again, that light breaking through that murky, stained water. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, he's staying down a little bit. He's got some shoulders. Oh, that's a little better one. Again, though, it's that little tail dance. Again, just a little bit out of the slot, but healthy fish, pretty fish. There's nothing better than walleyes in my book. You know, I decided to kind of move off and cover a little bit of ground now. We're anchored up a couple different spots, and they just seem to slow down. I just wanted to work this shoreline. I mean, they're all along here, so I just wanted to go real slow with the trolling motor on the bow and just start pitching and bringing it back, and I think it's going to be successful. There it goes. You know, for this technique, what we're doing here, I mean, it's so important, in my opinion, to have a longer rod, because you're trying to get out there, cover some distance as we work the shoreline. There we go. There's a fish. There's a good one. Boy, he just stroked that. Oh my goodness. Love that feeling. Oh, there you go. Quick release. There is such a big difference between fireline and mono when you're jigging, when you're pitching jigs, and you're casting and you're feeling for every little tick, every little bite. The fireline has so much sensitivity, and it actually, you can feel it at the tip and comes right down to the handle. Where mono has so much stretch to it, you don't get that. You know, both have their places, but in this technique, bar none, fireline's the way to go. And there's so many advantages to it and very little disadvantages. Oh, there we go. Nice. Nice little pocket here. Oh yeah, get the net. Perfect. Well, I tell you what, I was just kind of coming along the shoreline and pitched into this little structure. There's like some rubble in here, some gravel. And about the same time, the wind picked up, and it's just been constant, you know, constant fish. So between the structure and the wind, I think we found a little pattern here. Ooh, there we go, another fish.
The restoration occurred probably a lot quicker than anybody thought.
Nice. Wind and walleyes.
We were looking initially that it'd probably be at least 10 years of a fishing closure, and it ended up being 7.
When they start biting, it's fast paced.
In fact, the future's definitely bright. It's you know, since we started fishing again, we've kind of gradually ramped up. We started out fairly conservative with our regulations, and we've relaxed them as we monitored the population to how it was responding to that amount of harvest.
What a great day, though. I mean, the fishing was phenomenal. You know, anytime you come up to Red Lake, it's all about numbers and catching just that slot fish to take home and eat. I bet you caught 60, 70 fish today. Just amazing. But that's Red Lake this time of year.
Up next, panfish guy Nate Berg takes us ice fishing to a typical Minnesota lake when the crappies are concentrated into deep holes. And as you're about to see, once you find them, the crappie action can be absolutely red hot.
What we have here is a gigantic basin area that averages in between 44 and 50 feet. And every crappie in this lake, I swear, is in this basin hole. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make Swiss cheese out of this whole basin area.
I'm one of them guys that will drill 100 holes in a day. And what I use the auger for, it's my trolling motor. It's the way I search out fish.
My trusty little search bait, the little Cecil. Nothing on screen. Nothing. Nope. A couple there. 50 feet of water and these crappies are suspended at like 22, believe it or not. That's very common in a basin area, and I'm gonna catch this one. There he is. Oh yeah. Well, it's a start. It's a start. Not just a little guy. Just a little guy. They're coming way up. Look at that. That one's gonna hit it already. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh yeah, he's gonna hit it. There he is. Oh, this is a better one. This is a better crappie here. And there he is. Oh, he nailed it. He's not better, but he's nice. Right now we have almost 8 feet of fish here. Very typical of fishing in a basin area. Oh, there's another visitor. Jig, jig, jig. Using these jigging spoons. Keep it active. You gotta keep it active. I'm not using any live bait on here. What I'm trying to get is a reaction strike. So the more I jig it, the more they come up after it. And you wanna make them kill it. And as you've seen, it's been working. There he is. Big hit. Oh, there he is. Yeah, this is a better one. There's a better one. Yeah. I love catching crappies. I really do. The thing about basin crappies is they move around the hole a lot. They're gone, just like that. And you need to cover a lot of water to try to stay on the school. Nothing. Sure, you can sit in one spot and eke out your limit through the day, but I'm not a limit eking person. There isn't anything here. You look around the basin here, I don't know, I got 30 some holes, I suppose, drilled. And I move and move and move and move. Gotta move. But as soon as I don't have a fish on the screen, I'm moving. Oh, there we go. There's a school right there. Oh, here comes one already. Coming up. So fun to watch the fish move up for the lure. The beauty of an LCD screen is you can zoom in and zoom out right to the school of fish. There's the bottom, there's the school of fish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in, and I have a much more up close and personal view, and I can read the fish better and what they're doing. Now I'm only using 3-pound test, and you're seeing how hard I'm jerking. You gotta set the hook hard on these fish. If you don't set the hook hard enough on the crappies in 25, 26 feet of water, they're gonna get away. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. It's really crucial to set the hook as soon as you feel a little bit of a change. A lot of times it's just a little tick when they're biting light. Many times it's a hard, solid hit like that one. Oh yes, this is a nicer one. Oh yeah, yeah. The sensitivity of the Premier ice rod that I'm using is unbelievable. I'm just dancing a little tiny spoon and I can feel it down there, just bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. And any change in that bounce, you can feel. It's a very, very important tool when fishing a light line and in this deep water. Let's let this one go.
Finally today, just a few personal reflections on the whole walleye comeback story at Red Lake, Minnesota. When the giant slab crappie numbers were going crazy as a result of the walleye demise on the lake, I and many anglers were ecstatic. I mean, here we had a phenomenal year-round crappie fishery unlike most Minnesotans had ever seen. Anglers came from all across the country, and the crappies just seemed to get bigger and more plentiful.
Another dandy.
But when the DNR chose to restore walleye populations, many of us were extremely frustrated, knowing it would mean a loss in terms of crappies. As restocking took place over a number of years, those walleyes did take back their niche within the ecosystem, and the crappies were soon edged out as king. Today, just as planned, the walleye fishing is one of the hottest fisheries going in the entire state. Fishermen are going by the boatloads and the limits are highly regulated, but it's not uncommon for anglers to have those 100 walleye days.
Another fish.
It just goes to show that for every big action within a fishery, a big reaction is soon to follow. In the end, I consider it very good news that Red Lake has been reborn to what God first intended it. As for the Red Lake crappie boom, well, I'll always have fond memories of those giant slabs of yesteryear to hold on to. I'm Babe Winkelman. Thanks for watching, and until next time, everybody, hey, good fishing.